masters are also humans who make mistakes. And today we're going to be taking a look at one of those moments where world champion Ding Ren crumbled under pressure in one of his most important moments of his chess career. This is game 14 of the World Chess Championship match 2024 between Ding Liren, the defending world champion, and Gukesh the challenger for the World Chess Championship title. This is the last game of the match. If the game ends in a draw, then the match will proceed to a tiebreak with the faster time control. The score is equal, 6.5 to 6.5. Dingren is playing with the white pieces. So let's hop right into the game. The game starts with knight f3, d5. We get some kind of ready opening. Goes d4, kind of reversed Grunfeld setup. We get a game going. The defending world chess champion gets a slightly better position with this pawn structure on the queen side. Yeah, we get a game, but then something goes wrong for Ding, and he proceeds into a slightly worse middle game. Here, he didn't like this that this pawn on b4 was kind of stopping both of his pawns, a2 and b3. So he made a decision to give up both the pawns for the pawn on b4. Goes a4. This is still equality, but Ding is down a pawn with a slightly worse endgame. We get this endgame, just kind of shuffling, and we need to give credit to Gukesh because he didn't give up in this position, although it's a pretty simple draw, especially for world champion or a chess player this class like Ding Liren. Gukesh just shuffles around, brings his king in. Ding exchanges a couple of pawns, and just shuffling, and to one moment it seemed like Ding is gonna hold an easy draw, but in this moment Ding had 9 minutes and he played the absolutely horrible rook to f2. Now, to make a draw in this position, like any other non-blundering move, would just make an easy draw. For example, just bring the bishop back to g2, for example, or maybe go rook a4 to kind of give some checks to the king. But rook f2 is a horrific blunder, just a blunder of like a 1900 rated chess player, because it is so simple to understand that white is losing in this position. It's just you don't need to be a strong chess player to understand that. But Ding crumbled under pressure, went rook f2 here, thinking that it would be an easy draw, but it is actually a losing endgame. It goes bishop d5, and now this bishop on a8 is very misplaced, because if the bishop, let's say, would have been on b7, then it could move to c8 or a6 and the game would have ended in a draw. But with the bishop on a8, it has nowhere else to go to than to capture the bishop on d5. We get bishop takes d5, king takes d5, and this is an easy win for black, because if white doesn't play king e3, for example, just king e2, we go king e4, opposition, and if the king goes away anywhere, like king f3, and if king f2, we I just go king d3, kind of getting in the position and winning the pawn on g3. And if the king goes to e3, like it was in the game, then black will go king e5, as happened in the game. And in this position, Ding resigned, because if he goes anywhere with the king, for example to d2 or e2, then king e4, and again the same kind of opposition. If king d2, king d4, or even f4, and if king f2, black can go king d4, kind of diagonal opposition. And if king d3, then black would just go f4, takes. Here king g3, king h2, and promoting the pawn. So this blunder cost Ding $200,000, I believe, and also a world champion title. Gukesh became the new world chess champion, and also we can learn from this game that you should never give up. Like, even if you have a drawish position against a very, very strong player, you should not give up. Like, you should play any position to the very, very end, because even world-class grandmasters like Ding, who was a world chess champion, even they can mess up like this move rook f2. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you want to work with me, you can message me on Lichess. I will have the link to that in the description, and I will see you all in the next video.